Yeah, Tuesday night, lights low, sparks fly. War report after dark, better fall in line. From WWE to TNA, AU to Spark. Vince the Prince from the Northeast set it off in the dark. OG Steve led the charge, Cat Al, Eric us, 9 p.m. Eastern. Acknowledge the ring, acknowledge us.
Let's go, Oos! Let's go, Oos! Down six. Day one, it's down six. Day one, it's we been down six. Day one, it's line them all up, knock them down like this. Down six. Day one, it's down six. Day one, it's we been down six. Day one, it's line them all up, knock them down like this. Let's welcome these folks to the Uso Penitentiary. Bam! Alright. Hey, let's get it, Oos! It's not paranoia, it's the Usos!
Welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report After Dark. Holy shit! What a Monday Night Raw did we just have? We have a tribal combat match now set up that we got to break down. We got the return of Brock fucking Lesnar. We got Brock Oba Part 2 coming. So much to dissect. We got SmackDown. We got Saturday night's main event. And then we got Night in Italy. Fucking A. We got a lot to cover. Welcome everybody to another edition. How you guys doing?
Oh, man, I'm good. So definitely a surprising Raw. Can't wait to get into it. Before, was that a remix that included Roman's theme with the Usos theme?
Yeah, that was a little remix action that I found that actually sounded great, and I figure finally the Bloodline got some retribution on Jacob, so I thought it was fitting. I had made that decision before something else happened in the night, but we always play music to go out, so... Man, what a Raw! Like, I don't even care about SmackDown. I mean, we'll cover it, but Raw was just on fire. Like from the minute it started, you get Roman, making his entrance, coming right out to the ring. Well, about to come out to the ring, but then Jacob comes out and says, you come out. It calls him out, and then.
You know what grinds my gear?
Oh, here we go. What?
This points might prove exactly what I said a couple weeks ago or a week ago. And you were like, wait a minute. So this ruins Backlash for you? How the fuck was this not Backlash? How was this not Backlash? How do you not put Obafemi in there and have fucking Brock Lesnar come out and they go ape shit? This should have been Backlash.
Wait, are we talking about Roman and the Bloodline, or are we talking about Brock Oba?
Everything. The whole shebang. Roll it all together and smoke that bitch up, but smoke it on Backlash. It was a great show. Like it was arguably the best Raw we've had in how long?
I mean, it's
this was a better Raw than the
Tough to
Raw
say.
after WrestleMania.
Yeah, I because it was just something happened each hour of the show. And okay, so ultimately Roman, Jimmy, and Jay finally get retribution on Jacob. They beat the piss out of him.
About damn time.
And then Roman says, go ahead now, fire his ass if you want to Pierce. And as he's about to do it, Jacob challenges Roman in a tribal combat match, and Roman accepts. So I have some questions. Number one, is it smart to be doing tribal combat now at this Clash in Italy, or is it better to have it at SummerSlam? Like, I almost feel like... Well, here's another question. The tribal combat match, to me, is all about the Ula Fala and who is going to continue or become tribal chief. Does this mean that the title's not on the line?
I
We'll
would
just
think
have
it
to-
is for sure. I mean,
Huh?
I would think for sure is on the line.
I don't know. See, that's one thing that they might have to clarify next week because
Because they didn't
sometimes
clarify it. I mean, it could just be for the Ulafala.
with the stipulation of being the new tribal chief,
Right.
it could be an opportunity for them to take the Ulafala but not the title from Roman, and then you have like a match down the line where the winner takes all.
Well, what really gets me here when I heard tribal combat, correct me if I'm wrong, but it could only be a tribal chief if you have a tribe. So who is Fatu's tribe?
Well,
Which
no,
means-
that's not necessarily the way I see it. Is being named tribal chief, which means that the Samoans acknowledge you as the tribal chief. It doesn't necessarily have to be a faction type of situation, although it will be.
Right.
You
Which
know what I mean?
gets to my point. Who's gonna come out and be in his tribe? Are we gonna get the Usos turning on him? Or are we gonna
Well-
get a new member of a Samoan dynasty? Or
Well-
do we have Solo join him once again?
But these are all hypotheticals in the situation that Roman loses. Now, that's the other thing, too. Because then I sit here and I say, well, if they're going to have a match in Italy, this is the second match. How does Jacob lose again? But then I also
Street
feel like
Fighters
that
coming
would set up match 3 at SummerSlam and make it a 3-match series.
The other thing I guess we're not counting on is the full-blown Uso heel turn so maybe it is just for the Ulafala, but let's say that they turn on Roman and they acknowledge Jacob as the new tribal chief, and now you've got a babyface Roman by himself with just the title, trying to defend himself against this other bloodline.
But you know what, too, though? After what just took place, it seems like the Usos are on the same page with Roman. I mean, they beat the piss out of Jacob. It's not like there was hesitation. You know, like, yes, did Jimmy try to talk some sense into Jacob? But ultimately, you know what I mean? So now I'm not so sure that they turn. Maybe if Jacob does win, maybe he does bring Zilla in. Maybe he brings in a whole new...
Or they could he could come out with, if he does win, with the Ulafala, and you have the Usos and all those guys in the ring, and kind of like what Roman did to Solo after he won the Ulafala. It's like, you all have to come in the ring and acknowledge me as the new chief, and that includes all of you, and fall in line or don't fall in line. You're either in or you're out. And maybe there's a point where like Roman doesn't want to acknowledge him, or he acknowledges him and walk away. And then the Usos are like, hey, them's the rules. These are the family rules. He's got the Ulafala. He's the head of the table. We go with him. So like, they don't necessarily like do a hard heel turn on him, but they're like, hey, these are like, it's mafia rules, and this is what we got to do.
Right. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I almost feel like something like a tribal combat match should have been at SummerSlam. Like, I don't know. I mean, I could see the appeal of doing it in Italy because the crowd is always insane. But the real question is, does Roman already drop the title? And I can't see Jacob losing again.
Right.
Although tribal combat does make it in a way where Jacob could lose without looking
Either of them
bad
could,
in
yeah.
either way, because it's a no DQ. I mean, anything could happen.
Right. That's how they always did it with those like those goofy Cena last man standing matches where it always ended up with somebody being like duct taped to the bottom rope or something. It was like, hey, they lost, but they didn't like get pinned. It was just some like stupid thing that John Cena thought up.
What if it was one of those situations where they just both knock each other out
10
to the
count?
point where, yeah, it's a, well, there's no DQ, so there's no count out.
Yeah, no, yeah, a double knockout probably wouldn't work. They'd have to like double pin, like one of those fall down and one guy's arm is on the other guy kind of thing.
That could be.
But I don't know. I think for tribal combat, you have a lot of outs for both guys. Like Roman could lose because, you know, Jacob is more street smart. He spent all that time in prison. He picked up a couple tricks that Roman didn't know about. He's more of a street fighter and a brawler than Roman. I don't know. There's ways you can play this if you want Roman to lose, and then obviously you have on Jacob's side. He's
You
the
know
big
what should
power guy.
happen? You know what should happen? Because it's tribal combat, so there's always interference. Haku should show up and throw on the Tonga death grip
I,
on
I
Roman.
I don't hate that at all. I think if we're really,
Haku is still mobile. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like he doesn't look bad.
no, he still works and stuff. I think if we're really gonna go all the way, we go all the way. Not only does he come out and he does the Tongan death grip, he takes out the golden spike that Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, gave to him back in WCW because he used to have a golden spike on his he could put it on his thumb and he would use like the Umaga spike.
Yeah.
And like if he handed that over and if they properly explained the significance, handed over the thing, and then that's one more like Haku / Meng thing they can give Jacob, so he's not just like Umaga 2.0. He's kind of like Umaga, kind of like Meng, kind of like Haku, kind of like an amalgamation rather than just like, oh, he's the next so and so.
That would be so cool.
The more the days pass, I'm starting to think the same way you are, Steve. It's like, does he lose twice in a row? Like, why would he lose twice in a row? Because the one man that won't lose any steam because of who he is for losing is Roman Reigns. Because we talk about Seth Rollins all the time about losing, but Roman Reigns could lose for a year straight for me, and he's still the tribal chief in my eyes. Like that doesn't matter to me. Win or loses are beneath the tribal chief at this point in his career. So I definitely think there is going to be a way, whether it's a street smart way, like you say, Vince, or something from the outside coming in.
Right.
I could see it definitely happening.
And for Jacob, because he's that big powerhouse guy, what they usually do with him or Brock Lesnar or any of these guys is like they'll try and go for a spear and crash into the barricade, and then like a bunch of shit will fall on top of them, like tables and chairs and speakers or whatever. Like that was one time Brock Lesnar almost lost a 10 count like that. Roman was like piling stuff on top of him and he like popped out.
Right.
Like a horror movie monster. So there's ways, he could take a big bump. John Cena got thrown into a spotlight by the Big Show one time. There was a bunch of pyro. So like
they incorporated that spot into the video game.
Yes. Yeah. You can go over to the stage in like L1 or L2, whatever. But, so there are ways where you can go, oh, how's this Jacob ever going to lose? Or how's Roman ever going to lose? Well, you just set up a big fucking booby trap, Looney Tunes style.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. A lot of shenanigans could take place. But then the other big piece of news is Obafemi comes out to do his open challenge, and we're all sitting there waiting to see if he's going to have to find his own again or if somebody's actually going to have the balls to come out. And the way this was shot on TV was so perfect because of the lighting. You couldn't make out who attacked him at first. And then you see kind of a shadow of somebody getting lifted, and then you're kind of like, there's no way. And then all of a sudden the light comes up and you see it is Brock, and he gives him an F5 followed by another 3 or 4 of them splitting his pants again, which is always fun to see. A hell of a surprise.
But tell you something. I was with you all the way until you said I didn't know who the hell it was, because as soon as I saw Oba get attacked, I said there could only be one human that did that. And that was the man, I believe, that did not retire at fucking WrestleMania, which is Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, well, see, but that's the thing too, man. Like, it is just one of those things that fans are conditioned that if you see a wrestler take their boots off and their gloves off and leave them in the middle of the ring, that is saying goodbye. As far as Heyman saying, file the paperwork, he's retired.
Right.
And all of a sudden, here's Brock. great surprise. I was not happy that Brock was gone, but I don't want people to get all excited because I'm thinking this goes till SummerSlam and then maybe he officially retires in his hometown,
Right.
which is where I thought it was going to happen in the first place. For all we know, he could have another like Brock is the kind of guy too. Like his schedule is worth keeping
Yeah.
because he pops in and out, has 2 or 3 matches, makes millions of dollars, and then goes back to Canada and goes back to his farm
It gets a major pop every goddamn time.
every fucking time.
And it is, but it just stinks that he had this nice, like, organic surprise moment of retiring at WrestleMania, and then everybody backstage is like, well, no, he was supposed to lose to Gunther at SummerSlam. We can't have this. So it's like, yes, I'm happy he's back, but also, like, the guy made a choice. He fucking retired. And listen, I know he also made a choice to come back, but it's like they probably threw the bag at him to not retire and wrestle these last couple matches. But it's like,
Vince, I am willing to bet you this was all a setup in the story from the beginning. Wait
Yep.
until we see the next Unreal and how it all unfolded.
Oh,
Like,
baby.
This was
yeah,
all
I can't wait for Triple H to figure out a way to take credit for all this accidental shit that happened and be like, it was my idea the whole time.
the only
I texted
thing that
Johnny
Brock
Ace,
the only thing that Brock was missing was the salmon suit jacket.
I don't think Brock Lesnar's that good of an actor to pull off the whole crying routine to retire. Like that felt like he was retiring.
It did
at
feel like the
WrestleMania.
retirement, but that just means he did a great job selling us on it. But I don't think it was a situation where he decided he was retiring and now they figured out a way to bring him back. I think this was all in the story from the beginning, and it's going to conclude at SummerSlam.
Yeah, they definitely painted the picture for the long run on this one. You know, he gets over on you. You act like you're retiring. You come and get him back. You beat him in the next one, which he should, because there's no issue at this point for me. Obafemi losing his first match to Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar came back as a surprise. He's the hot hand right now. Therefore, he should go over whether cheating or not. That doesn't matter to me. But then Obafemi could take the third one at SummerSlam.
It's also why the open challenge worked, because it didn't get him in a feud with anybody. It gave time for this all to marinate where everyone really thought, wow, this is really it. Brock is gone. Tara, and when he actually retires, it's not going to be a special. See, I don't agree with that. At the end of the day, it's still Brock Lesnar. You know, Mark Henry did the whole thing. He cried. One of the greatest retirement speeches I've ever fucking heard, and it was a work. And it didn't lessen his actual retirement for me at all. It just made him great at what he does. I think this is a prime example of it. Brock is a true pro. I mean, whether or not it's a work or not, look how he put Oba over the first time around. You know, like you can't say Brock doesn't work.
Oh no, he definitely does. I mean, that's the one thing
He
I can
put
remember.
Oba over like $1 million.
And he picks like he picks the guys he'll do that for. There are guys
Oh, yeah.
he's not sold on that he won't do that for. So you know,
Well, because he sees a guy like Oba and he knows like this is a guy that can fill his shoes when he does officially hang it up. Hey, baby girl, how are you? Addie's listening.
hey, what's up,
So you know, I'm very excited. There's a lot of people were pissed off that Brock did return. From what I'm reading online and this and that, like, how could you be pissed? This is going to be the biggest rematch, and it's going to be in that crowd in Italy. That crowd is going to go insane. I just hope they do the rematch the way they did the first one at WrestleMania. Keep it short, sweet, hard hitting. I think you have to have Brock go over this time if you're going to conclude it at SummerSlam. So it's like another situation like Roman and Jacob.
Yeah, but I also wonder if he really is retiring. Do you trade? You go back and forth and have a best of 3 and finish with Oba, or do they keep this career killer thing with Gunther, which now they seem to have like dropped almost entirely?
I mean,
they
I
don't
got
even
to tell you,
mention it.
if I had to sit here and choose, am I going to finally get the match we've wanted to see, Brock Gunther, over a third and final Oba Brock match? I'm going Brock Oba
Oh wow.
every time at this point.
Okay.
Like it's almost for me the whole like must see match of Gunther Brock is over for me. I wanted it for years, and
Yeah.
now that I've gotten Brock Oba, I could give a shit less. Like to me, this is just more of a perfect fit.
Yeah. And I also think, not a terribly hot take, but Oba's younger than Gunther. He's got a longer future with the WWE. Not that I'm saying Gunther's going to retire soon or anything, but I'm just saying logistically, when you look at a longer timeline, Oba is going to be there longer than
Right.
Gunther. So like, yeah, all in on this guy. I kind of agree. I think there was a window where that would have been an interesting match, and God, I've said this on to some of my friends online, but I'll see how you guys feel about it. Fat Gunther was better than skinny Gunther. Like there's just something about
You
him
mean
being
Walter?
whatever. Yeah, but you know what I
Walter
mean. Like
was the fat one.
him coming out all skinny and weird looking, like he has the Ozempic neck and all this shit. It's just like I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. Like this big fat guy who could just power bomb somebody through the floor. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Walter was more impressive because he could do what he did with the size that he was.
Right.
Daniel over at YouTube, what's going on? How are you,
Yeah.
brother? So yeah, I speaking of which, and this is totally changing the subject, and we can circle right back. But since we're talking about big, I hope you guys are paying attention on NXT to this new guy, this British kid. I think he's British.
Oh, yes.
What's his name? Is it not Mason? Mason?
Mason
Something.
Rook, the
Mason
gigantic
Rook.
kid. Yeah.
Dude, this guy is going to be a part of that John Cena Classic.
Yeah, John
This
Cena's
is
a
the
good
guy
guy.
you're going to watch out for. This guy is a big boy, and he flies,
How tall
and
is
and he's pretty good on the mic. How tall is he?
Well, I will find out.
I never. I
And
don't
he's
watch-
young too.
Yeah, but he looks like Rosie O'Donnell's bastard child or something. He's 6'4", 300 pounds.
Oh wow.
Al,
gigantic.
I'll send you. Fucking go on TikTok and just type Mason Rook NXT debut and just take a look at this guy.
They brought the chant over from the UK, but his chant is he's big, he's bad, he'll body slam your dad.
Yeah, the whole crowd started chanting. It's hilarious. But the guy's impressive. I'm telling you, he's going to be a big deal. Daniel over at YouTube, anything new with Becky Lynch? Well, yeah, actually. They started. Well, I think they made the match official. They're going to do Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka for the IC title at, I think that's going to be at Saturday night's main event. That should be a great match. I think Sol might actually take it because she's 0-2 so far. I think after all the shit Becky's been talking, I think she's going to take the title from her at Saturday night's main event.
Let's hope. I mean, it would be nice. I just, seeing her lose like that the first few times, I'm kind of hesitant to predict any kind of victory for Sol Ruka. I want her to win.
She can't keep losing.
No, well, that's the problem. She can't keep losing, but also you make that debut. She looked so good in her debut and she lost. And that's the other thing is she is looking good, but she is losing. So
But
like,
I don't
instill
but
confidence.
yeah, but you know what? Like they even addressed it in the backstage promo, and I don't think it's hurting her at all. She's the new girl on the block. She's been losing, but she's been putting on great matches and she's winning the crowd over. So I don't think at this point it's any. I don't think it's as much the wins and losses at this point. It's just her getting her feet grounded.
It just fits with her persona, her character, right? Her persona is the laid back surfer. It's all right, dude. I did my best. I'll get it. I'll eventually get my win. And Becky Lynch putting this girl over is just the perfect story why Becky Lynch is one of arguably the best wrestling female to ever wrestle. She has no problem doing this at this stage.
And it's not just her saying it.
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah.
It's not just her
everybody's
saying it.
It's ESPN
Sports
saying it.
Illustrated, Bleacher
Sports
Report says
Illustrated.
it.
Bleacher Report says it too.
That
Yeah.
never gets old to me.
It's
so
never.
funny.
It's gonna be
Like
great.
even when she got interrupted saying it last night, and then she goes, "Now I got to start over and do it again," and she started it like everything about it. She's fucking great. Addie wants to know: Has Jelly Roll made any appearances lately? We have not seen Jelly Roll since WrestleMania. I have heard rumors we might see him around SummerSlam, so we'll see. But I'm sure a lot of it has to do with his concert tour and everything else. Something tells me we're not going to see as much of Jelly Roll. I think the wrestling fans need a little break from Jelly Roll, but we'll see. I mean, he still gets a nice pop when he's around.
As
So,
long as he doesn't come back and involve himself in Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, he'll be fine. Like that's the one
I
thing.
wouldn't mind seeing Jelly Roll like do something heelish, like like turn on Cody Rhodes or something.
Oh my God.
You know?
Everybody.
But I agree. SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Everybody does turn on Cody Rhodes.
Everybody. Go down the
So-
list. Who the fuck has it turn on Cody Rhodes?
So in this Raw, we have Tribal Combat announced. We have the return of Brock Lesnar now with Oba Femi. Brock Lesnar's already signed a contract. It just needs Oba's signature, which I'm sure we'll get this week. You had a street fight with Finn Balor and JD McDonough, which was awesome. Really good match. I mean, it just the pacing of everything was great. Then you had the promo battle with Soul and Becky, which made that match. Then you had El Grande Americano, the 6-man tag with the OG Americano and all of them. I mean, that was a fun, entertaining match. But it was like LA Knight's back.
Yeah.
And then interrupted the Usos. Michael Cole interviewed Ethan Page. I love Ethan Page. That interview backstage with Michael Cole, that pre-taped interview, is one of the best sit-down interviews I've seen in a long time. Ethan Page is a star. I love everything about the guy. His arrogance. I think he's going to be Penta. I think he's taking the IC title from Penta.
Yeah,
Wow.
I could see that.
You
know.
You don't think it's too soon?
He won at WrestleMania. He had a good showing. Like it's the IC title. You don't the honky
No.
tonk
I mean,
man.
too soon for Ethan Page. Just came up and give him an IC title right away.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
I mean, keep in mind, too, Ethan Page was kind of a big deal before he made it to WWE. I mean, like, Ethan Page is not new. Like,
Right.
he's
He
been around
was
a
in
lot.
TNA for a long time. He was in AEW. Then
Right.
he established himself in NXT very quickly.
Right.
So yeah.
The all
I mean,
ego thing took off really, really quick. Addie was thinking, do you think The Rock will be on because it's been a while? You know what? With The Rock, you never know. He is a part of the board with TKO. So he's always around, so to speak, even though he's not there. I don't think we see The Rock outside of, I mean, earliest would be SummerSlam, if not WrestleMania or lead up to, if he's going to have some involvement. But as of right now, we haven't really heard anything much in terms of The Rock returning onto TV. Daniel wants to know if we've heard anything with Triple H. Well, Triple H runs the show. He sits behind the curtain at every show. He helps write the show. He directs and
he can't
everything else
wrestle because he had some sort of heart condition and then had like open heart surgery. So his wrestling days are done. So he's gonna spend his time writing the show and directing the show and all that.
Yeah. LA Knight returned, but didn't really do much. Just talked a lot of shit. The women's tag, you had Paige and Brie versus the Judgment Day. Paige and Brie retained. It was what it was. I said it last week. They need to split. They need to get Paige away and be on her own.
Oh, they're so
Like,
now.
you know what's upsetting to me is that, like, it's at a point now where Paige gets no reaction when she comes out. She screams, "This is my house. This is our house." The crowd doesn't react. They need to get her away from Brie, and they need her to. She needs to go solo. I really need Nikki to get healthy. I need Brie to turn on Paige and let Nikki take the title and let the Bellas run as the champions.
Yeah, I mean, this was always supposed to be a temporary thing. Then again, you don't know how long it takes somebody's ankle or leg or whatever it is to heal, especially as you get older. And I'm not saying they're old. I'm just saying it's a fact. The older you get, the harder it is to recover from an injury, especially something that limits your mobility, like an ankle or a lower leg injury. That's pretty much 90% of what you do in the wrestling ring is going to be involving that one or both of your legs and moving. Right. Such legs. So like I understand if she's having a tougher time getting back than scheduled or whatever, but I agree, man. I think it was great to have Paige return and make the surprise return to WrestleMania, win the titles, get that reaction. But now it's like, oh, the reaction is more of, oh, she's stuck with the Bella Twins. Like that's right. The real reaction. Like if she was with another faction, because I don't think she's in shape right now to wrestle singles matches consistently like she used to. So I think she does need another faction, but I think it needs to be like JC Jane and those bitches, or like Toxic Attraction or so. You know what I mean? Like she needs a group that more fits her thing than the Bella Twins. They just don't mesh.
Yeah, no, I agree. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. Seth Rollins, Austin Theory. It was a good match. That ended pretty much how you thought it would. And then, of course, the Profits come out. So I like that they're pushing the Profits again. I do like that we've been seeing them week after week.
Question, now that we're on here, I needed to ask this. Do you think there might be a team up between the Profits and Seth Rollins?
I mean,
that's what it seems like they're going.
They've been pushed. They've been teasing it. I don't know that they're going to officially have like a faction or a team. I think they might just have each other's backs, maybe have a 6-man tag or something, but I don't think they're going to actually form like a group.
What better way to elevate the Street Profits than to put them with the Messiah himself?
I don't disagree with that, but also let me float.
They did kind of try that with Bobby Lashley, and it didn't work.
But let me float something by you. 2 guys who just left the fucking company, who back in the Architect days were paired up like pretty successfully with Seth Rollins, were the New Day. The chemistry between the New Day and Seth Rollins during his Burn It Down, black and gold tights outfit kind of era was great. Like they called him the captain, and like at first he was annoyed by them, and then it was like now then they were teaming together and stuff. So like that would have been interesting. Now that, especially because those guys were such like big heels and all that, how different the chemistry would have been. But I still think those guys get along so well. That could have been an opportunity for a faction. This is not a bad option. I agree that we need to heat up the Street Profits because we're really at the point where it should get off the pot with these fucking guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like at this point, you either have to go all in and say, okay, these guys are going to be part of the tag team division and main event storylines and championships, or you have to say we're going to break them apart and Montez is going to be the singles guy and Angelo is going to go off and do something else. Like we have to make a decision.
And putting them in this faction allows you to do that, right? Because at the end of the day, faction eventually always break up.
Right.
And you can make that business decision then. Is it Angelo that's going to turn on Dawkins? Are they going to turn on Rollins? The 2 of them turn on one of them, because it's the weak link. And there's a lot of storyline that you could develop. And not only that, and you could stretch this one out with Division for a little bit longer, which could eventually end up in a street fight somewhere in SummerSlam. I don't know. Something like that. A 3-man, 3-on-3 street fight. And then that's when Brunson comes back and puts Division over or whatever the case may be.
I'm kind of getting tired of Rollins in a faction.
Yeah.
Not me.
But what do you do with him? I mean, other than, you know what I mean? Like, what do we do with Seth Rollins by himself in 2026?
Well, I mean, it looks like he's still going to be feuding with Breaker.
Yeah, they just had to push that down the line. But I'm saying, like, he's good, but he's always even going
And
back to Ring of Honor when he was a singles wrestler, he was in the Age of the Fall. He was being managed by Truth Martini and that group. Like he was Seth Rollins, Tyler Black was pretty much always in a faction for
That's
a
his
long
strength.
portion of his career.
I feel like that's a strength, right? Because when I'm not a fan of him as a babyface, for the most part. I'm really not. Like
I
I get
agree.
tired of him very easily as a babyface. However, as a heel, I like him as a leader, as a faction, and the fact because he's not the biggest guy. He's quick. He's injury prone. So him winning and getting across as the sneaky architect, whatever. Like for me, that's the niche.
But they're not gonna turn Seth heel again. So if this is a faction, it's gonna be a face faction,
for now.
which is what you don't like.
No.
They're not gonna
For now.
turn. They're not gonna turn Seth anytime soon. He just was heel. They just turned
No,
him
that's
back
what I'm
face
saying.
again.
For now. I'm
I
not
mean,
talking
unless they give him the Big Show deal where he turns every other week. But
No. I'm just saying for now he's good, right? Because he's hot. He's a face now. We haven't had that from him in a while. So you ride that ship right now, and then eventually when they get stale, because they will, that's when you throw the curveball in there and see what happens. I don't know, because besides that, what you gonna like Vince said, what are you gonna do with him? You're not gonna put him in a championship main event match right now. There's too many people
True.
in line. You don't want to drop him down to a Intercontinental or a U.S. title match, have him wrestle every week, potentially get him injured. So you put him in a stable where he could manage more and less wear and tear, and you could cash in on this contract you gave him.
Yeah, and if they, if they're good together as baby faces for a while and you want to do something new with them, but you don't want to break them up, you turn them heel. And then that whole thing, you turn Seth and the Street Profits all in one go. And you keep the faction together until somebody breaks away or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like just Seth Rollins straight up one-on-one against somebody right now. It sounds fine, but it doesn't I'm not chomping at the bit for Seth Rollins against Braun Breaker with just those two guys and not the Vision and the Street Profits being involved. Like, you know what I mean? At least being part of the story. It's just like those two guys by themselves, they're fine, but Breaker hasn't reached that next level yet. And Seth is a top guy, but he's not like the top guy. So it's it's fine. It's all fine. It's just not, it's not exciting me yet. It's just fine.
It's like Seth Rollins looks like a phantom, and he's really a Chrysler 300. And then
I see what you're saying.
then Roman Reigns shows around as a phantom, and then you realize what a Chrysler 300 looks like. You know what I mean? No disrespect, though.
well, on that note, shifting over to SmackDown.
Oh, wait, before we go to SmackDown, I have one thing I want to float to you. The rumor is Danhausen's gigantic clone is going to be Baron Corbin.
So what's so funny that you bring up Danhausen, because I was gonna open with my comments about SmackDown about the fact that Danhausen has his own lair, which I think is amazing, right? So he's got his own Danhausen cave where he does all his experiments. And now it looks like he's got a full-size body that he's going to try and clone. And I have heard the same rumors that Baron Corbin could be returning. And I'd be okay with that. I like Baron Corbin a lot.
I think
he would
get a big pop. I don't know why. But if he comes back as that, he'll get a fucking...
You know what, though? He's done a great job on the indies.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on Busted Open Radio as a regular. His insight has been really good. And his banter with Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer and all them has been really good. Mark Henry. So I could totally see Baron coming back. He's still in great shape. He can work his ass off. I don't know why Baron really started to take off with that whole winning the lottery gimmick. Yeah. And then and then they just stopped it. I don't know why. But he finally was starting to get over. I like Baron Corbin, so I hope that is true. But I do love how Danhausen has his own lair. I think that is amazing.
Now Baron Corbin's not a bad choice. I think he would get a good reaction. What would you think if Omos was the clone?
I'd be okay with it only because that means we eventually will see him and Oba. And I kind of want to see that, even though it's not going to be anything crazy, but just to see Oba
Right.
manhandle Oba
The,
or Omos would be fun to watch.
the great thing about it is, I think this character Danhausen is so over. Whoever it is just going to benefit from this ship, this high he's on.
Yeah, whoever
Those
it
are
happens to
two very
be.
good choices. Two very good choices. I would enjoy either one of those.
Danhausen's great. Danhausen is absolutely fantastic.
That
Well,
little
now you have
scar-
to think logically though about this. He has a Danhausen cave where he does all of his experiments, but they're in a different city every week in a different building. So he has to break down and build his. He has to bring it, and he has to bring the clone. You know what I mean? Like I love the logistics of this. It's like, does he just throw it all on the production truck? Like, does he try and sneak this guy into the airport? Like, I kind of want to know. Like, that would be great. He's running through the airport with like a gurney with a sheet over. He's like, I gotta get to my plane.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. He's so
two
great.
tickets. Here's 2 tickets for me and my clone.
Yeah.
Put
Put him in the overhead bin. I don't want to pay for 2 tickets. Put him in the overhead bin.
I don't have those human monies. So we had a great segment with Cody Rhodes. He comes out and he ultimately sets up a contract signing. He comes out, he throws a table in the ring, he throws 2 chairs in. One of the chairs, as it goes in, gets the pyro, and then he sets up the contract signing, calls out Gunther to sign the contract that he wants to face him. Gunther, of course, comes out and starts playing games like almost like beg me to come and sign your contract thing.
Right.
And then Royce Keys comes out, says, if you're not going to fucking sign it, I will. Gets down to the ring, and just as he's about to sign, Gunther grabs the pen. Ultimately, it winds up setting up Royce Keys, Gunther in the main event. Winner takes on Cody. But I thought that was hilarious the way that went down because Gunther's just being a dick. And he almost lost his opportunity.
Yeah, that was an interesting little twist that they put in.
Does
Gunther.
anyone think Gunther's going to win?
I would like him to.
I would too, but I
don't
just
think he's going to, but he I mean, here's the thing. They've already established that he can't beat Cody. So it's either he finally cracks the code, or this
I
is
see what
like,
you just did there.
yeah, see, yeah, or the other option
Cody
is
code.
Cody just has his number all the time and he can retire as many legends as he wants, but the one guy he can't figure out is Cody Rhodes. And then once he does, maybe that's the story that they make out of it. But who knows? I just know that the last couple times he's gone against Cody, he's lost, so he'll probably lose. But I think I'm okay with these long title reigns, but you have 2 world championships. So I think you have an opportunity to have one belt that you establish very long reigns with, and then you've got another belt that you can kind of bounce around and see who works. Because right now there are so few top guys, and there are a lot of guys like Oba who are scraping that top guy line that just need a little extra push over. Guys like LA Knight, you know what I mean? So if you had one of these world titles that you could kind of fucking experiment with and just be like, all right, well, this guy's going to win. And if it doesn't work, we take the title off of him in 2 weeks. Some heel screws him over, blah, blah, blah. And you got a new champion. It's just
I'd almost like to see Gunther beat Cody.
Yeah.
And then Oba eventually goes after Gunther for that title. And that way you don't anytime soon get Oba Roman. Because you want to prolong that as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, that's a money match.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like a WrestleMania match.
That's a WrestleMania match.
Yep.
And now we've got Saudi Mania coming up. But before that, there's one more Saudi show coming up before that. And I want to say, is it June, July? It's sometime this summer. And they are monitoring the situation, as the quote says. So we'll see what that means.
Yeah, I mean, it's very touchy over there right now. So safety has to be a concern for all the talent.
But at what point can WWE pivot from Saudi Arabia? We've got until April of 2027.
I
where the
wonder
women's
if they
show
have a plan B lined up in case.
They have to be discussing that right now.
They have to have
Yeah.
something. You can't just move it to the Performance Center. This is WrestleMania.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think. Do they have a backup arena in the U.S.? Are they going to be like, well, all this stuff has already been shipped out so far. Maybe we do it in Europe somewhere. Do we?
I think they'll keep it international for sure.
See, but how does that work though? Like you have a plan B and you say, listen, don't have anything booked for these 2 dates just in case. And
Yeah, I
then
know.
if it doesn't pan out, we just pay you money for holding the spot.
Yeah.
That seems like you're just throwing away money, but at the same time, you need a backup plan because who knows what the hell's going to be happening over there by Mania time. I mean, you'd like to think that whatever's going on will be long over, but who knows? I don't
Right.
think anyone expected it to go on as long as it has. So,
Yeah, and it could, it's one of those things where it goes away, it comes back. It
Right.
could go away, it could come back. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what decision.
and it's not like Riyadh wasn't hit during some of this.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like by November, by like Survivor Series, that's really when they'll lock it in. Because like, if you're headed to the road to WrestleMania and you're headed to the Royal Rumble, you aren't going to lock in a WrestleMania that you're not 100% about whether or not it's going to go down because of some sort of conflict. So I think they make that decision before the year ends. But then what does that do with the relationship with the Saudis? Like it's a whole can of worms. Booking a Saudi Mania in the first place was a whole can of worms, and now is continually complicating over the last 2 or 3 years. Has just been more and more complications.
That shit is firing back in their ass, isn't it? Like right in their face is blowing up. The fact that he did this.
yeah.
And you know who doesn't have to deal with it at all? Vince McMahon.
At all. He would have never made that decision.
He
the
cashed
rumors,
yeah.
the rumors are still going crazy that Vince is trying to either buy back WWE or buy TNA.
How old is Vince again?
I mean, he's up there.
80 something.
See what I mean? Regardless of what he does, God forgive me, but it's not going to be, it can't be long lived. You know what I'm saying? Like, guy's fucking
He will be 81
Oh.
in August.
Jesus.
81.
Yep.
That's a pretty healthy age. I mean, look, he might have a good, I don't know, he could live up to 90. So he has 10 years. Yeah, buy it back. Fuck it, Vince. Do it. I know you're listening, bro.
It would be
Just
so
buy it.
funny if he bought TNA though. Like what a gag that would be after all these years. And those early years at TNA, they caught on. There were TNA chants at WWE shows. Talent was going over. Like there was a lot of
Could you
a lot
imagine
of hype for TNA.
Can you imagine the views if Vince McMahon buys TNA? That first
Millions
that
of
first
like
show
200,000 people watch TNA. 5 million people would watch the
Correct.
first Vince McMahon episode of TNA just to see what would happen.
Absolutely.
And it would partly be people who are excited Vince is back and want to see, and part of it will be morbid curiosity, weird, creepy old man buys wrestling company in 2026. What happens? Like that. Part of it probably be like, do we watch a train wreck? Like, what do we do?
It would be interesting. I don't think anyone's going to put him back in a position of authority at this point. I
No,
could be wrong.
that's what you got.
You know what they always say, you never say never.
Yeah, but I mean, there should also be an age limit to never say never.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah. So tell that to Ric Flair.
Woo!
The guy still wants to wrestle another match. He won't. He shouldn't, but he wants to.
He wants to die in the ring. I'm convinced
Yeah.
of that.
I happen to agree.
I'm
We
sure
did
the
always
fans-
say if there were two people that would die in the ring, we always said it would be Flair and Vince, or maybe Vince more at Gorilla.
Right.
for the
Wow.
If
last
they'd want to
few,
be there.
for the last few years, Ric Flair's conversation with his doctor has been more like this: Rick, you have 5 bumps left. Rick, you have 3 bumps left. I think he's down to 2. You know what I
Before he just turns into dust.
mean? Oh my god! Before it's just over.
Yeah. There's a scene in the wrestling documentary Beyond the Mat with Terry Funk, and Terry was in his 50s at the time, and the whole part of the documentary was detailing Terry Funk's retirement. He was going to wrestle with ECW, and then he was going to retire, and that was going to be it. This was 1996, and he wrestled until like 2016, and then he died in like 2020 or something. But he's with his doctor, and they're looking at X-rays and MRIs of his knees, and the doctor literally looks at him and goes, "Terry, you have no cartilage in your knees. I don't know how you are walking right now."
Jesus Christ!
He's like,
He's
"I don't know. I
used to
just
the
get up.
He's
I
right
just
to
rub,
hospitals.
I rub some goddamn linseed oil on my legs, and I just massage them every morning. I heat them up, and then I get out of bed." He's like, it's the most old school shit. He's just like, "I just rub some shit on my legs in the morning, and I'll make sure they heat it up." And I'm like, "Okay, you just heat up your knees? All right, thanks for the tip. Heat up your
He
knees."
starts his knees up.
It's like a cold day with your car. He's like, "Oh, we just gotta warm it up for a couple minutes."
Warm it up. It's a diesel.
But that's just like back in that day. Like, no matter what you worked. If you had a broken finger, broken elbow,
matter.
like you worked. Like unless you were dying, you showed up and you worked your match. Now there's so many safety protocols in place for good reason, obviously. That doesn't happen anymore. But back then, like you didn't risk losing your spot.
Yeah, it was work or don't get paid. That was really the reality of it. Yeah, PTO and vacation time and sick time and all this stuff is very modern. And back in the day, it was like if you didn't get in your car and drive from Charlotte, North Carolina to Biloxi, Mississippi and make it there for the next show, you weren't getting paid. So,
So true. So true. So we have Saturday night's main event this Saturday, and then a week from this Sunday, we're in Italy at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's not bad. And there's a AEW pay-per-view on Sunday, Double or Nothing. It's happening in Queens.
Oh, so it's sold out too. So Double or Nothing is going to be at night. Wow! So you got really all day. You got Clash in Italy in the afternoon, and then you got Double or Nothing at night.
Oh, is Clash? Well, no, this weekend is the AEW pay-per-view. Is the Clash?
This one's AEW. So Saturday you have Saturday night's main event, and then Sunday you have AEW.
Yeah. Jeez, what's this card for Saturday? Oh, here we go.
Well, you got MJF and Darby Allin, right?
Yeah. Oh, geez, and see, that's the important one because
That's the hair match, right?
Right. Darby has convinced Max to put his hair on the line for a championship match. This is one that's hard to call because MJF is such a down for anything, like for the business kind of guy, and also a practical guy where if he's like, let's say he is getting a touch up on his hair transplant or whatever, you need to shave it all the way off before they do the hair transplant. You don't go, before they do the procedure. So if that's what's actually happening, he could very well lose this match and be off TV for a month or two until his new hair plugs settle into his scalp. Speaking of, John Cena should get the receipt back for them shits. It's looking rough back there. So guess that's not a guarantee when you buy the thing that it's actually going to work.
Looks much better than it did, though.
Oh, 100%. But
the
Darby thing, I feel like Darby is such a crash and burn guy that this is not going to be a long title reign. So MJF could probably get the title back on Sunday. It'll just be very, very interesting if they decide to keep the title on Darby and shave MJF's head. And the fallout from that, because they already on Wednesday they had a show where MJF got out of his car and he walks and he looks to the left, and
And
he
it's
sees,
all bold people.
it's like Sanjay Dutt and Christopher Daniels, and he sees like the bald production guys, and then he finally walks up to Ricochet, and Ricochet's like, "You're gonna look great, Max. Not as good as me, but you're gonna look great." And Andrade took his hair out of his ponytail and like waved it in his face like a shampoo commercial. Like, oh, they're just fucking with him over this thing, and I kind of, it's so good. I want it to keep going.
It's funny. It is funny. I could totally see MJF losing.
Oh, and shaving his head. They're already they have a t-shirt out of and it's him photoshopped bald, and it says "balder than you," and then he went up on Twitter, he's like, "Who approved this?"
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
That's great.
They're really, they're leaning into it. He's paranoid on social media, like he's replying to like fans comments and tweets and stuff. It's pretty interesting that he's
the best. He is the best. I love everything about him.
No, more than anybody else. He keeps kayfabe and maintains, like,
all the time.
A little bit of reality. When a lot of people, just like you said, there's that, the show where you can talk about unscripted or whatever, where they talk about the show afterward. MJF is not that guy. Everything is still like, when he does an interview, it's still very much grounded in like, wrestling is real. This is a sport, and I am explaining my thoughts as MJF to you within that context. He doesn't go, "Yeah, well, me and the booker, we sat down and I sent a text message over to Nick Khan." Like, he's not gonna have one of those conversations.
That's so funny. Well,
I could do that all day, just like, "So me and Johnny Ace, we sat down. I don't know. I asked the Road Dogg. I said, 'Road Dogg, what are we gonna do with this Chelsea Green?' He says, 'Put the U.S. title on her.'"
Glad to see her back.
Yeah, we mentioned him earlier. Her and Ethan Page have made a good team in the past, and no reason for them to not do that on the main roster and have them both hold those U.S. championships and call them Canadian titles or whatever, and just be completely insufferable with it.
I would love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the top of the hour.
Indeed, we have. Indeed. Well, thank you guys for tuning in again. This is the War Report After Dark. We do it every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. on Eastern Time. Adjust your clocks as necessary. We broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you head on over to YouTube and you type "Tag Me a Date" in the search bar, you will find our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. It will send you a notification 30 minutes before we go live. All you got to do is tap on it. You'll be brought to the show. If you go to Facebook, type in "Tag Me a Date" on your Facebook search and hit the follow or thumbs up button to follow our page. The live stream will show up in your news feed on Facebook. We are also on social media, Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, and a bunch of others. Look for @TagMeADate. That's @TagMeADate, all one word, especially Twitter and Instagram are @TagMeADate. TikTok is different. TikTok, you search for The War Report Podcast, the full name of the show. Either way, you follow those accounts and you will get reels or shorts of last week's show to prepare you for next week's show. So whether or not you are on Facebook or YouTube, just head back to those pages and you'll see our live show. If you prefer the audio version instead of a video version, all you need to do is go to your favorite podcast app, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. Type in The War Report, type in "Tag Me a Date." You'll see our lovely logo that's all over the screen right now. You'll see our names in the description. Hit subscribe, and Steve or Ryan will grab the audio between Tuesday and Wednesday and upload it for you. So as long as you're subscribed, you don't have to do any work. Subscribe, and as soon as it's uploaded, it goes right to your phone or your tablet. And thanks to everybody who commented. We had Daniel and Addie and Tara and everyone else. Thank you for commenting. Leave a like or a share on the way out. It helps us in the algorithm. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you right back here next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the War Report After Dark. Have a great week.